6 months after the first alien attack, Jake Morrison commanded a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. His ships came from 3 different worlds and were crewed by humans and aliens working together. The rebellion against the Zephyrian Empire was spreading faster than wildfire across the stars. The first alien species to join the human cause were called the Corvini. They looked like large lizards that walked on 2 legs and had been slaves of the Zephyrian Empire for over 200 years. A Corvani leader named Voss had escaped from a prison planet and made contact with human forces near the edge of Zephyrian space. Dr. Lisa Park served as the main translator between humans and the growing number of alien allies. She had learned to speak several alien languages and helped different species understand each other. Lisa discovered that most of the aliens enslaved by the Zephyrians had forgotten how to fight for themselves until they saw humans refusing to give up. Voss told Lisa that the Corvani had once been proud warriors who ruled their own star system. The Zephyrians had conquered them by destroying their homeworld and scattering the survivors across different planets. For generations, the Corvani had believed they could never fight back successfully. Then they heard stories about humans who destroyed alien warships with primitive weapons and refused to surrender. Even when facing certain death, Ryan Carter had built secret shipyards in hidden asteroid fields where humans and aliens worked together to create new types of warships. These rebel vessels were smaller and faster than traditional alien ships, designed specifically for hit-and-run attacks against larger enemies. Ryan combined human creativity with alien technology to build ships that could outfight anything. The Zephyrian Empire had Amy Foster led mixed squadrons of human and alien pilots in raids across 4 different star systems. Her fighters attacked Zephyrian supply convoys, communication stations, and isolated outposts. The aliens were having trouble defending their territory because they never knew where the rebels would strike next. Amy's pilots moved like ghosts through space, appearing suddenly to cause destruction before vanishing again. The Zephyrian Empire tried to stop the rebellion by sending larger fleets to hunt down the rebel bases. But the rebels had learned from human tactics and never stayed in one place long enough to be caught. Jake moved his main fleet constantly, using abandoned space stations and hollow asteroids as temporary bases that could be abandoned quickly if discovered. Helen Scott had expanded her communication interception network to cover most of Zephyrian space. Her listening posts were hidden on small moons and drifting rocks throughout the galaxy. Helen could now hear alien military communications in real time and warn rebel forces about enemy movements, hours or even days before attacks happened. The intercepted messages revealed growing panic among Zephyrian commanders. The Empire was losing ships and territory faster than they could be replaced. More importantly, other alien civilizations were starting to take advantage of Zephyrian weakness by attacking their borders and stealing their colonies. Dr. Park made contact with a species called the Threx who had been planning their own rebellion for decades. The Threx were skilled engineers who had been forced to build weapons for the Zephyrian military. When they learned about human fighting techniques, the Threx began sabotaging the weapons they built and sharing Zephyrian military secrets with the rebels. Jake received a message from Admiral Rivers on Earth that changed the entire war. The human government had made formal contact with 2 major alien civilizations who were enemies of the Zephyrian Empire. These powerful aliens were willing to provide weapons, ships, and supplies to the human-led rebellion in exchange for a military alliance against their common enemy. The war was becoming much larger than anyone had expected. What started as a simple invasion of Earth had grown into a galaxy-wide conflict involving dozens of different species. The Zephyrian Empire was now fighting rebels inside their territory while also defending against attacks by hostile alien nations on their borders. Amy Foster discovered that Zephyrian morale was collapsing in many parts of their empire. Alien soldiers who had been confident conquerors just months before were now afraid to leave their bases. Some Zephyrian units had mutinied and refused orders to fight the rebels. Others had simply deserted and disappeared into the vast emptiness of space. Ryan Carter developed a new type of weapon that turned the rebellion's biggest weakness into a strength. Human and alien rebel ships could now combine their firepower by linking their weapon systems together. A group of small rebel vessels could focus all their guns on a single target and destroy ships much larger than themselves. The Corvani proved to be excellent warriors once they remembered how to fight. Voss led Corvani boarding parties that captured Zephyrian ships by fighting hand-to-hand inside enemy vessels. The Corvani were stronger and tougher than most aliens, and their natural armor made them hard to kill in close combat. Helen Scott's intelligence network uncovered a secret Zephyrian plan to destroy Earth with a planet-killing weapon. The aliens had built a massive ship carrying enough firepower to turn Earth into a dead rock floating in space. The weapon was being moved secretly toward human space and would arrive in just 2 weeks. Jake faced the hardest decision of his life when he learned about the planet killer. He could try to intercept the weapon ship with his rebel fleet, but that would mean abandoning the rebellion in Zephyrian space. If he failed to stop the weapon, Earth would be destroyed. If he succeeded but lost too many ships in the battle, the rebellion would collapse and all the freed alien worlds would be reconquered. Dr. Park helped Jake make his choice by reminding him what the rebellion was really fighting for. Humans had not started this war just to save Earth. They were fighting to prove that freedom was worth dying for, and that no species should have to live as slaves. Even if Earth was destroyed, the idea of human resistance would inspire other aliens to keep fighting. Jake decided to split his forces. He would take half the rebel fleet to defend Earth while Amy Foster and Voss led the other half in continued attacks against Zephyrian territory. The rebellion would survive even if Earth fell, and the galaxy would remember that humans had chosen to burn brightly rather than live quietly as slaves. The message went out across rebel communication networks in dozens of languages. Human and alien fighters prepared for the most important battles of their lives. Some would defend the human homeworld against a weapon designed to kill planets. Others would keep the fires of rebellion burning in the dark spaces between alien stars. The Zephyrian Empire had wanted to conquer one small blue planet and add humanity to their list of slave species. Instead, they had awakened something they could not control or understand. The fire that humans brought to the galaxy was spreading from world to world, system to system, species to species. Soon the entire galaxy would be burning with the desire for freedom, and nothing the aliens could do would put out those flames. As Jake's ship jumped to faster than light speed on its way back toward Earth, he thought about all the beings who were now fighting for their freedom, because humans had refused to surrender. Win or lose, humanity had already changed the galaxy forever. The age of galactic empires built on conquest and slavery was coming to an end, and a new age of freedom was being born in fire. 2 years after humanity first heard alien voices demanding surrender, Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched the final battle begin above the Zephyrian homeworld. The rebel fleet had grown to over 800 ships representing 23 different species, all united under human leadership in the fight for galactic freedom. The planet below them was called Zephyros Prime and had been the capital of the alien empire for over 3,000 years. Its cities covered entire continents, and its orbital shipyards had built the warships that conquered dozens of worlds. Now those same shipyards were burning as rebel. Fighters swept through them like an unstoppable storm of fire and destruction. Dr. Lisa Park commanded the medical ships that kept the diverse rebel alliance functioning. She had learned to treat injuries and diseases from many different alien species. More importantly, Lisa had developed translation technology that allowed beings who had never seen each other before to work together as if they had been allies for years. The Zephyrian Home Fleet was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Over 1,500 warships protected their capital world, including massive battle stations that were bigger than some moons. The Zephyrian commanders were confident that no rebel force could break through such powerful defenses. Amy Foster had been promoted to admiral and now commanded all rebel fighter squadrons. Her pilots came from 12 different worlds and flew ships built by 6 different civilizations. What united them was not technology or appearance, but the human idea that freedom was worth any sacrifice and that death was better than slavery. The battle began when rebel ships appeared throughout the Zephyrian system simultaneously. Jake had divided his forces into dozens of small fleets that attacked from every direction at once. The aliens found themselves fighting enemies above their planet, around their moons, and in the asteroid fields at the edge of their system. Ryan Carter unveiled his greatest creation during the opening moments of the battle. The rebel flagship was powered by controlled stellar plasma that burned as bright as a small star. When Zephyrian sensors detected this fireship approaching their homeworld, many alien crews panicked and broke formation. They had come to see humans as creatures of living flame who could not be stopped by conventional weapons. The fireship was not just a symbol, but also a weapon. Ryan had learned to focus stellar energy into beams that could cut through any armor ever built. When the fireship fired its main gun, it created a line of pure destruction that vaporized everything in its path. 3 Zephyrian battle stations were destroyed in the first 10 minutes of fighting. Voss led a combined force of Corvani warriors and human marines in boarding attacks against Zephyrian command ships. The aliens had never faced enemies who were willing to fight hand-to-hand inside their own vessels. Voss and his warriors moved through alien ships like vengeful spirits, capturing bridge after bridge and turning Zephyrian weapons against their former masters. Helen Scott coordinated the rebel communication network from a hidden base on one of the system's outer moons. Her listening posts throughout the galaxy fed her information about Zephyrian movements and let her warn rebel commanders about incoming threats. Helen had become the voice that held the rebellion together across dozens of light-years of space. The Threx engineers had spent months sabotaging Zephyrian ships and weapons. When the battle began, alien vessels started exploding for no apparent reason as hidden bombs destroyed engines and ammunition stores. The Threx had turned the Zephyrian military's own technology against them in ways the aliens never imagined possible. Dr. Park received reports from medical ships throughout the battle zone. The rebels were taking heavy casualties, but their morale remained strong. Alien soldiers who had been slaves for generations were fighting with desperate courage because they knew this might be their only chance to win freedom for their children. The Zephyrian home fleet fought back with weapons that could destroy planets and energy shields that could stop entire fleets. But the rebels had learned from 2 years of constant warfare. They fought in small groups that could dodge massive weapons and concentrated their firepower. To break through the strongest defenses, Jake realized that the battle was not just about military victory, but about breaking the psychological power that had kept the Zephyrian Empire together for thousands of years. When other species saw that the supposedly invincible Zephyrians could be defeated, the entire structure of galactic civilization would change forever. Amy Foster led the attack on the main Zephyrian command station orbiting above their capital city. Her fighters had to break through 3 layers of defensive screens while dodging fire from weapons that could vaporize small asteroids. Half of her pilots died in the attack, but they succeeded in destroying the station that coordinated all Zephyrian forces in the system. The turning point came when rebel boarding parties captured the Zephyrian Emperor's personal flagship. Voss himself led the assault on the bridge and took the alien ruler prisoner. When word spread that the Emperor had been captured, many Zephyrian units stopped fighting and tried to surrender or escape. Ryan Carter's fireship engaged the largest Zephyrian battle station in single combat above the alien capital. The battle station was armed with weapons designed to destroy entire fleets, but it could not turn fast enough to track the smaller rebel vessel. Ryan used his ship's speed and firepower to slowly tear the battle station apart, piece by piece until it finally exploded in a ball of flame visible from the planet's surface. The final phase of the battle was fought in the atmosphere of Zephyros Prime itself. Rebel ships chased fleeing Zephyrian vessels through the alien planet's skies, while millions of beings on the surface watched their empire die. Some aliens fought to the end, but others began surrendering as they realized their cause was hopeless. Helen Scott intercepted the final message from the Zephyrian High Command ordering all their remaining forces to surrender unconditionally. The alien empire that had ruled much of the galaxy for thousands of years was officially defeated by a rebellion that started with humans refusing to bow to superior force. Dr. Park established field hospitals on the surface of Zephyros Prime to treat wounded soldiers from both sides. She had learned that healing was just as important as fighting when building a new kind of civilization. The rebels would show mercy to their defeated enemies and prove that freedom did not require revenge. Jake stood in the ruins of the Zephyrian Imperial Palace and thought about how far humanity had come since that first alien message demanding surrender. Humans had answered that demand with fire, and that fire had spread across the galaxy until it consumed the greatest empire in known history. The war was over, but the real work was just beginning. 23 different species needed to learn how to live together as equals instead of masters and slaves. New governments had to be built and new laws had to be written. Most importantly, The idea of freedom had to be protected so that no future empire could enslave the galaxy again. Amy Foster's voice echoed through communication systems on hundreds of worlds as she broadcast the news of victory. She told the galaxy that beings who had lived as slaves for generations were now free to choose their own destinies. The age of galactic empires was over, and the age of freedom had begun. As Jake watched the sun set over the alien capital, he knew that humans had given the galaxy something more valuable than military victory. They had proven that no species was too weak to fight for freedom, and no empire was too strong to be defeated by those who refused to surrender. The fire that humanity brought to the stars would burn forever in the hearts of free beings throughout the universe. The smoking wreckage of alien ships floated around Mars like a graveyard in space. Jake Morrison stood in the salvage bay of the human ship Defiance, looking at pieces of alien technology that his crew had pulled from the destroyed vessels. The battle for Mars had lasted 2 days and cost both sides many ships, but humans had learned something valuable. Aliens could bleed and die just like everyone else. Dr. Helen Scott arrived from Earth on a fast courier ship, carrying the best scientists humanity could find. Helen was 51 years old and the smartest person Jake had ever met. She could look at alien machines and figure out how they worked in just a few hours. Helen's job was to learn everything possible about alien technology. Before the next battle began, aliens had pulled back to the outer edge of the solar system. After failing to capture Mars, they were waiting for reinforcements and probably planning their next attack. This gave humans time to study the enemy and maybe find weaknesses that could help even the odds in future fights. Helen worked with a team of engineers to take apart alien computers and communication devices. What she found inside made her very worried. The alien ships had star charts showing 43 different solar systems under Zephyrian control. Each system had millions or billions of alien subjects living under their rule. Earth was about to fight an empire bigger than anything humans had imagined possible. Ryan Carter joined Helen's team to study alien weapons and armor. The alien guns were much more powerful than human weapons, but they used energy cells that took a long time to recharge. Alien armor was very strong but also very heavy. Most importantly, Ryan discovered that alien technology was designed to fight enemies who would line up in neat formations and shoot at each other. Politely, Amy Foster was promoted to squadron commander after leading the successful defense of Mars. She now commanded 50 human fighters and was responsible for training new pilots. In the tactics that had worked against the aliens, Amy discovered that human pilots could outfly aliens in small ships because humans were willing to take risks that aliens thought were crazy. Jake received new orders from Admiral Rivers on Earth. He was promoted to admiral and given command of all human ships in the outer solar system. His job was to organize raids against alien supply lines and keep them busy while Earth prepared stronger defenses. It was dangerous work, but someone had to do it. Dr. Lisa Park made the most important discovery of all when she studied captured alien prisoners. The aliens had a word in their language that meant burning ones or firebringers. When Lisa asked them about this word, the alien prisoners became very scared and refused to talk. Lisa realized that aliens had stories about creatures like humans, and those stories frightened them. Helen Scott managed to decode alien communication systems and listen to their radio messages. What she heard made her understand why the aliens were taking so long to attack Earth again. The Zephyrian Empire was not the only alien civilization in the galaxy. There were other powerful alien nations, and some of them were watching the war between humans and Zephyrians very carefully. The aliens had been sending messages to their homeworlds asking for advice about how to fight humans. Their military commanders had never faced an enemy that refused to surrender and kept fighting even when they were losing badly. Every other species the aliens had conquered had given up after losing a few battles. Humans just got angrier and fought harder. Jake organized his first raid against an alien supply convoy 3 weeks after the Battle of Mars. He took 20 human ships and attacked a group of alien freighters carrying fuel and ammunition to the main alien fleet. The convoy was protected by 6 alien warships, but Jake used the same hit-and-run tactics that had worked in the asteroid belt. The human ships attacked from 6 different directions at once, then disappeared before the alien escorts could organize a counterattack. Jake's fleet destroyed 4 freighters and damaged 2 warships before retreating to safety. The aliens were left with less fuel and fewer missiles for their planned assault on Earth. Amy Foster led fighter attacks against alien communication stations built on small moons and asteroids. Her pilots would swoop in at high speed, destroy the alien equipment, and escape before help arrived. Each successful raid made it harder for the aliens to coordinate their forces and plan new attacks. Helen Scott's biggest breakthrough came when she figured out how alien faster-than-light communication worked. She built a device that could intercept alien messages and decode them automatically. For the first time, humans could listen to alien commanders talking to each other and learn about their plans before attacks happened. The intercepted messages revealed something shocking about the alien empire. The Zephyrian military was starting to argue among themselves about how to handle the human problem. Some alien generals wanted to destroy Earth completely and kill all humans. Other aliens thought humans might be useful as soldiers if they could be conquered and controlled properly. Dr. Park discovered why aliens were so afraid of the Burning Ones from their old stories. According to alien legends, the Firebringers would appear when the galaxy was ready for a great change. These creatures would bring destruction to old empires and create new ways of living among the stars. The aliens believed that fighting the Burning Ones would either make them stronger or destroy them completely. Jake used this information to plan psychological warfare against the alien fleet. Human ships started broadcasting messages in the alien language, reminding them of their own legends about the Burning Ones. Some alien crews became so frightened that they refused to fight and demanded to be sent home to safety. The war began to change in small but important ways. Other alien species under Zephyrian control started asking questions about the humans who were fighting so hard for their freedom. Some of these subject species had been slaves for hundreds of years and had forgotten what it felt like to resist their masters. Ryan Carter developed new weapons based on alien technology but designed to work with human fighting tactics. His hybrid guns could fire faster and use less energy than pure alien weapons. More importantly, Ryan created small bombs that human fighters could drop on alien ships during high-speed attack runs. Admiral Rivers sent Jake intelligence reports from Earth, showing that the alien main fleet was having supply problems. The constant human raids were making it hard for aliens to keep their ships fueled and armed. Some alien vessels had been forced to shut down non-essential systems to save power. Helen Scott intercepted a message from the Zephyrian homeworld that changed everything humans thought they knew about the war. The alien government was not united. Behind the invasion of Earth, many important aliens thought the war was a waste of resources that should be used to fight other alien empires instead. The message also revealed that other alien civilizations were offering to help humans fight the Zephyrians. These aliens had their own reasons for wanting to see the Zephyrian empire weakened or destroyed. Earth was no longer fighting alone against a galactic superpower. They were part of a larger conflict that had been building for thousands of years. Jake realized that humans had accidentally started something much bigger than a simple war of conquest. By refusing to surrender and fighting back so effectively, humans had inspired other oppressed species to think about rebellion. The galaxy was starting to burn with the fire of revolution, and humanity had lit the first spark. The alien fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system like a dark cloud covering the stars. Jake Morrison watched them through his ship's sensors and felt fear in his stomach. 200 massive warships moved toward Earth in perfect formation. Each alien vessel was 3 times bigger than the largest human ship ever built. Jake commanded a small group of 12 human ships hiding in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Admiral Kate Rivers had sent them to slow down the aliens and buy more time for Earth's defenses. It was a suicide mission and everyone knew it, but no one complained. Ryan Carter had worked for 3 days without sleep to modify their weapons. He took apart old mining lasers and missile launchers, then put them back together in new ways. Ryan also studied pieces of alien technology that human scouts had found on deadworlds. He built new guns that the aliens would not expect. Amy Foster was 26 years old and the best pilot in the human fleet. She flew a small fighter ship that could move very fast and hide behind asteroids. Amy had grown up on Mars and learned to fly in the dangerous asteroid fields around her home planet. She knew how to use space rocks as weapons and shields. The alien ships moved slowly through the outer solar system, scanning everything with bright blue beams of light. They were looking for human ships and weapons platforms. The aliens thought humans would meet them in open space for a fair fight. They did not understand how humans really fought when they were desperate. Dr. Lisa Park had moved from the Valiant to a medical ship called the Mercy. She was studying captured alien equipment and trying to learn how their bodies worked. Lisa discovered that the aliens were much stronger than humans, but also much slower. Their thick armor made them hard to kill, but also made them move like they were underwater. Jake received orders from Admiral Rivers through a coded message. The human fleet would attack the alien advance guard when they entered the asteroid belt. The plan was to hit them hard and fast, then disappear before the main alien fleet could help them. It was the only way 12 small ships could fight 200 big ones. The waiting was the hardest part. Jake's crew sat at their battle stations for 6 hours, watching the alien ships get closer. Some people prayed to their gods. Others wrote letters to their families that would probably never be sent. Everyone checked their weapons one more time and waited for the order to attack. When the first alien ships entered the asteroid field, Amy Foster was the first to strike. She fired a missile from behind a large rock, then quickly flew away before the aliens could shoot back. The missile hit an alien ship and made a small explosion but did not destroy it. Amy's job was not to kill the ship, just to make it angry and confused. Ryan Carter's modified weapons worked better than anyone hoped. His new plasma cannons could punch holes through alien armor that their regular weapons could not scratch. The alien ships had strong shields, but Ryan's guns used a different kind of energy that could get through them. 3 alien ships exploded in the first 5 minutes of fighting. Jake ordered his ships to spread out and use the asteroids as cover. Human pilots flew between the space rocks like they were racing through a forest. The aliens tried to follow them but kept crashing into asteroids because their big ships could not turn fast enough. 2 alien vessels were destroyed when they hit large rocks at high speed. The battle became a deadly game of hide and seek among the asteroids. Human ships would pop out from behind rocks, fire their weapons, then disappear again before the aliens could fight back. The aliens got more and more frustrated as they tried to hunt down the smaller human vessels. Amy Foster discovered that alien ships had a blind spot directly above them. She led 3 other human fighters in a diving attack that caught the aliens completely by surprise. They destroyed the command ship of the alien advance guard and sent the other alien vessels into chaos. Without their leader, the alien ships started shooting at each other by mistake. Dr. Park was watching the battle from her medical ship when she noticed something important about alien behavior. The alien crews seemed confused and scared when humans did not fight the way they expected. These aliens had conquered many worlds before, but all those other species had fought in organized formations. Humans fought like wild animals, using tricks and desperate attacks that made no sense to alien military thinking. The human fleet destroyed 8 alien ships and damaged 12 more before the main alien fleet arrived to help. Jake ordered all human ships to retreat deeper into the asteroid belt, where the big alien vessels could not follow safely. The humans had won the first battle, but they had also lost 4 ships and 60 brave people. Admiral Rivers sent Jake new orders. His remaining ships should continue hit-and-run attacks while the alien fleet moved toward Mars. Every hour the humans could delay, the aliens gave Earth more time to prepare its defenses. Jake knew his people were tired and scared, but they would keep fighting until there was nothing left to fight with. The aliens changed their strategy after losing so many ships. They sent small groups of fighters ahead to clear the asteroids of human vessels. The alien fighters were faster than human ships but not as clever. Amy Foster taught the other human pilots how to use asteroid gravity to slingshot around rocks and gain extra speed. Human fighters started winning dogfights against alien pilots who had much better equipment. Ryan Carter found a way to turn asteroids into giant bombs. He attached small rockets to space rocks and sent them flying at alien ships. The aliens could destroy the rockets, but they could not stop the asteroids from hitting them. 3 more alien ships were crushed by flying rocks the size of mountains. As the battle moved closer to Mars, Jake realized that humans were learning how to fight this new kind of war. Every trick that worked got shared with other human ships. Every mistake that got someone killed was remembered and avoided. The human fleet was getting better at killing aliens even as it got smaller and weaker. The aliens were learning too, but much more slowly. They had fought the same way for thousands of years and did not know how to change quickly. Their commanders sent angry messages to each other, blaming everyone else for the losses. The alien fleet was strong but not united like the humans were. On the 3rd day of fighting, Jake received the best news he had heard in weeks. Human ships from other star systems were coming home to help defend Earth. The colonies on Alpha Centauri and Wolf 359 had sent every warship they could spare. Earth would not fight alone against the alien invasion. The alien fleet finally reached Mars orbit with only 170 ships left. They had lost 30 vessels to human attacks in the asteroid belt. More importantly, they had lost confidence in their ability to crush human resistance quickly and easily. The aliens expected to conquer Earth in a few days. Now they knew it would take much longer and cost many more lives. Jake's surviving ships took up new positions around Mars. The Red Planet had its own defense systems and thousands of human fighters ready to join the battle. When the aliens attacked Mars, they would find that humans had turned their second home into a fortress, covered with weapons and filled with people who would rather die than surrender. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Valiant and watched the stars through the large window in front of him. The ship moved through space faster than light itself, something humans had only learned to do 30 years ago. Jake was 42 years old and had spent half his life dreaming of this moment. He was now the captain of humanity's best exploration ship, flying deeper into space than any human had ever gone before. The year was 2387, and Earth felt very far away. Jake's crew of 150 people had been traveling for 6 months, looking for new worlds and maybe new life. They had found empty planets and dead rocks floating in the dark, but nothing that moved or breathed or thought. Jake was starting to think they might be alone in the universe. Dr. Lisa Park worked in the science lab 3 floors below the bridge. She was 35 years old and very smart. Lisa studied life and how it worked. She hoped to find aliens someday and learn about them. Every day she checked the sensors and looked for signs that something was alive out there in the cold space between stars. On Tuesday morning, everything changed. Lisa was drinking coffee and reading data from the ship's computers when she saw something strange. The sensors had picked up radio signals coming from a star system 12 light years away. The signals were not natural. Something was making them on purpose. Lisa ran to the communication room where Alex Stone was working. Alex was 28 years old and very good with radios and computers. He could make the ship talk to Earth from very far away. Lisa showed him the strange signals and asked him what he thought they were. Alex looked at the data and his face went white. The signals were definitely made by someone who was smart. They had patterns and codes that meant they were trying to say something. Alex worked for 3 hours to understand what the signals meant. When he finally figured it out, he called Jake to come down right away. Jake hurried to the communication room. Alex and Lisa looked scared and excited at the same time. Alex played the translated message for Jake to hear. A voice spoke in perfect English, but it sounded cold and angry. The voice said that beings from the Zephyrian Empire had been watching humans for many years. They knew that humans had finally learned to travel between stars. The voice said that all species who could travel in space had to obey the Zephyrian Empire or be destroyed. Humans had one day to surrender completely or face total war. Jake felt his heart beating fast. This was first contact with aliens, but not the friendly meeting humans had always hoped for. These aliens wanted to make humans into slaves. Jake told Alex to send a message back to Earth right away. Admiral Kate Rivers needed to know what was happening. The message would take 3 days to reach Earth because of the distance. Jake knew they might not have that much time. He ordered the ship to start moving toward the edge of the star system. If the aliens came looking for them, the Valiant needed to be ready to run or fight. Dr. Park spent the next few hours studying everything they knew about the alien message. She found clues that the Zephyrian Empire was very old and very big. They controlled many star systems and had conquered other alien species before. Humans were just the newest target on their list. Alex kept listening for more alien signals. He heard radio chatter between alien ships that were moving toward human space. The aliens had a big fleet of warships and they were already on their way to Earth. Alex counted at least 200 ships, each one much bigger than anything humans had ever built. Jake called his senior officers to meet in the main conference room. Besides Lisa and Alex, there was Commander Ryan Carter, who ran the ship's engines and weapons. Ryan was 38 years old and had fought in the Mars Rebellion 10 years earlier. He knew about war and killing. Jake told them about the alien threat and asked what they should do. Ryan said they should fight. Lisa said they should try to talk and make peace. Alex said they should run away and warn Earth. Jake listened to all of them and made his choice. The Valiant would go back to Earth as fast as possible. They would help defend their home world against the alien invasion. Jake knew it might be suicide, but humans did not give up without a fight. He had read history books about how humans fought against bigger enemies before and sometimes won. The ship turned around and started the long journey back to Earth. Jake sent another message to Admiral Rivers, with all the information they had about the aliens. He also sent messages to his wife and children, telling them he loved them and would try to come home safe. During the trip back to Earth, the crew worked hard to get ready for war. Ryan studied the alien ships and tried to figure out their weak points. Lisa learned everything she could about alien biology and technology. Alex improved the ship's weapons and communication systems. Jake spent his time planning battle strategies and thinking about how humans could possibly win against such a powerful enemy. The aliens had better ships, better weapons, and more experience fighting wars in space. But humans had something the aliens might not expect. Humans never gave up even when they were losing. 3 days before they reached Earth, Jake got a message from Admiral Rivers. She had received their warning and was preparing Earth's defenses. Every human warship was being called back to protect their home world. The planet's orbital weapons were being powered up and made ready to fire. Admiral Rivers also sent Jake new orders. The Valiant would not return to Earth. Instead, it would join a small fleet of human ships that would try to stop the aliens before they reached the home system. It was a desperate plan with little chance of success, but it might buy Earth more time to prepare. Jake gathered his crew and told them about their new mission. He gave everyone a chance to leave the ship and go home to their families. Not one person chose to leave. They would all stay and fight together, even if it meant they would die far from home. The next morning, Jake stood on his bridge again and watched the stars. Somewhere out there, alien ships were coming to destroy everything humans had built. Soon there would be fire and death among the stars. But humans would answer that threat with their own fire, and they would make the aliens remember the name of humanity forever.